the hair. I make sure the hair's still good, man. What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. NBA Talk with J Money and Shark, Skee Profit, man. We're here. We're cracking my guys Skee up. Everybody in the chat, everybody watching the show right now, probably cracking up as well, man. But we're trying to get to some cash, man. It's Winning Wednesday. What's up with you, Shark? Everything cool, my guy?
Excellent. December 8th, 2021. Another Winning Wednesday with Skee Profit. We were off last week. Of course, another 13-game card here, an opportunity to dominate a beautiful day. Skee, what's going on, brother?
What up? Hey, I'll be sitting here dying just like that whenever I'm watching. I'm not on the show, y'all. I'll be looking at Shark getting it in on is that the violin, Shark?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Gotta have fun.
Man, let's get to it, man. It was a good day yesterday, Shark. Let's go ahead and get to today. Just tweet it out. If y'all can, just retweet the tweet, guys, in the chat. Let's try to get as many people in here, man. We're trying to cash today. Let's go to the first game up, man. We got the Cavs versus the Bulls here, Shark. I know that the Cavs, this line was at 2.5 yesterday. It's up to 3 now, my guys. Total was at 208.5, coming up to 211.5. That's pretty crazy with this Bulls versus Cavs spot. I must say, man, I think the Cavs may have enough defense here to keep it, to be able to win this game. You see them as the favorite here, Shark. I think they're the favorite for the reason. A 13-12 team favorite over the 17-8. I think the Cavs have the defense, simply put, and the interior defense to get the job done. Shark, could you talk me on?
I mean, you guys know I love the Cavs, and I love to bet the Cavs. And I also love the Cavs as a home favorite. I went through this last night, and I said to Jay, I like it. I have a couple counterpoints, and I'm not on it officially. Do look at those two favorite spots. They were against absolute bottom feeder, grease fire special spots. Of course, Detroit and Orlando. The Orlando line was specifically noteworthy, -10, and they covered it by 3 points. The reason why I'm not on this game exclusively, you do get a revenge game for Chicago. Cleveland competed very well against Chicago last year. Interestingly enough, of course, Cleveland was not the Cleveland we know them now last year. But within the division, they played very well against them, and they did hammer Chicago by 20 points in the last meeting at home. And it's one of those spots, Jay, we always talk about a little bit of a gut. I don't really overthink anymore. I've been doing this for 12 years. But something about this is a little off for me. I just feel like Chicago without DeMar DeRozan, again, the motivation, sketchiness, and a favorite spot against a different style group. And I did go back to last year. The line did not matter. We talk about it when it's strong or weak. When it was strong, it did not matter. When it was weak, it did matter. And I just think this could go the other way. So nothing official for me here, but Skee, any comments?
Yeah, I would have to look towards the Cavaliers here. A lot of times throughout the year, the Bulls have proved themselves, like when they're missing a player or two, but they're missing way too many guys now. You're missing Russo, Kobe White, DeRozan, Williams. It's too much. And the Cavaliers, Green. Cavs been playing good. Like, they got some good chemistry going. They got the trees down there holding it down. And like you mentioned, the defense has been good. They're probably going to out-rebound Chicago. And they're top 10 three-point defense this year. So I think the Cavs have the right side today.
Yeah, I'm with you, Skee. I don't see many scenarios. I know the Bulls are still a great squad. I know they won one game without DeRozan. We talk about this all the time. You can do it a few games without your guys. It will catch up with you at some point. I do think it'll catch up mainly on the road as well. They're on a 4-game win streak. It stops today, if you ask me. I like the Cavs in this game, -3. They've covered 8 straight games, right? And against a lot tougher competition, if you ask me. They blew the shit out the Heat. They blew out my Mavs. They kept it close with the Suns. Just look at that spot at the house, right? They keep it close versus the Suns. The way that they were on a 17-game winning streak right there. If they could keep it close versus greater teams, keep it close versus the Nets at the house, the Cavs team really turned up with their home crowd. They're getting this win today. They're covering the spread. Bulls are dropping one, my guys. Let's go Cavs. Let's go to the next game here. Let's go. This is the second of this little home spot. 76ers versus Hornets, Shark. You like anything in this one?
This is incredibly difficult. We said this going back to the last game. 118, 111 on a 7 last year. And then it was 7 again, and they went to overtime. So now you get an ATS revenge spot where Philly's been mildly lackluster in a small window. You also get a look ahead for Philly. They play a national game tomorrow against Utah. And Charlotte, again, with the roster ambiguity, players in and out. I think one of the themes we haven't gotten to yet, and we will, we're going to do a second show, I believe, at 6 o'clock. A lot of personnel movement across the board today, injuries, COVID or not. I think this could apply to this game. This line is shading down 1 point. I think that's market action. I think it did open at 7 again. This kind of reminds me of a playoff series where 3 straight games in the same stadium all have the same number. I think it's razor sharp. Definitely nothing I'm trying to involve myself with.
Skee, Sixers, Hornets. You like anything?
Yeah, we just saw this game, and I made the mistake of playing on the Sixers rather than just playing on Embiid. So, I mean, Charlotte still very small. I would expect Embiid to have another great game here. I'd probably just play his props over points and rebounds.
Exactly. Yeah, the Sixers, they struggle on offense too much for me, if you ask me. Not enough fluid offense. You look at the Hornets, even though they're missing some guys, their offense is I know in the first game was a lot more fluent. There's no way the Sixers should have let that game be that close, if you ask me. I'm staying far away from this shit. And this is the spot that I thought they were in the other day, where they was in the first game of the back-to-back. They're looking to avenge a 35-point loss from the Utah Jazz. So it could be a huge look ahead for the Sixers, staying far off that one. We got the Knicks versus the Pacers, guys. And I'll be honest with you, it's tough for me. Yeah, definitely look at those Embiid props if he does play. Absolutely no one to stop Embiid out there. He's catching his wind again. This Pacers guys, they're shopping a lot of guys. I'll be honest. I'm interested to see how the Pacers react to this. Sabonis, Turner, and LeVert, their 3 best players, well, other than Brogdon, are all on the trade block. They can kind of get to your head sometimes. Maybe they're playing not want to get injured, or do they want to play and show out for potentially their next team? Shark, anything on this one? Knicks, Pacers?
No, this is really difficult. We've talked about this across the board. Knicks and Celtics, highly unpredictable. We found the Knicks yesterday. We centered on it and we dominated it. The question is, can they bounce back again on a second in back-to-back on the road? Indiana comes in here in a funky spot in a revenge game. Indiana did compete in Madison Square Garden, fall off the grid in the fourth quarter, 23-10 Knicks to lose 92-84. Go back to the previous matchup in Indiana. Indiana did hammer them, I believe, 111-98. This is just the classic environment, which I always talk about. When both teams should improve, it's hard to cap. Indiana should get immensely better. Their point per game differential versus their straight up win rate is egregious. They have to improve by default on that numerical scale. And the Knicks have been lackluster the last handful of games and have been better on the road. I think ultimately at this -4 number, you are coin flipping to the max.
What you think about this one, Skee?
Yeah, it's a lot going on in this game. You know, you could think either way about how these players are going to feel about being on the trade block. But one thing I do know is neither team has really been playing defense. And that's why you see both sides kind of going over the totals lately, as far as I think Indiana, 6 of their last 7, Knicks, 5 of their last 6. And they're not even playing fast. Like, I look at the last 5 games for both teams, they're bottom 10 in pace. It's just the defense is that terrible. So if I got to play this one, you know, I really don't want to touch the side with the Knicks on the back-to-back, although I probably would grab the points, just thinking Indiana might be uninspired. But I think the go-to here is neither team is playing defense. Get up and over the total.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of a low total as well with that 209.5. Definitely could get there. Me personally, I'm not laying points with the Pacers right now, especially with 3 major names could be traded any day. They don't want to get injured. They kind of could be a little bit of complacency. We're going to play, but we don't want to mess up the rest of our season as well. So Pacers laying 5. No, thank you. Knicks are nothing for me in that one, my guys. Let's go over here to this Wizards versus Pistons game. Uninspiring game for me, if you ask me. The Wizards have just not. They're in a tailspin. Right, they're reverting back to their average of how they are, and I really think they overachieved early this season. I don't think the Wizards team is as good, and they're starting to play like exactly what I thought. It called me crazy. Like, I'm not betting this game. I actually lean Pistons, man. I think the Wizards laying points on a roll right now with their form. I just can't do it. Shark, anything on this one?
I want to take Pistons too. I don't like the number, unfortunately.
I say,
there's a lot of tough games on this board tonight where there's just counterpoints where, like, you go through it and we go through it in immense detail and you almost get to one side and then you start looking at the other side and you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. And I wanted to take Detroit, but I look at Washington again. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Detroit is very lackluster. I do think you're going to get a close game against the number. I go back to 2 specific games, both on Wednesday night. And we do say this. Wednesday night is a unique night in the NBA. It's the biggest card. Oftentimes there's a lot going on. It is what it is. But go back to the opener against Chicago, 94-88 Chicago on a 5. So that was razor sharp. And then go back to a specific game, which I think this could end up being a corollary towards. Home game 2 off of blowout against the Kings. They came back against Indiana and hammered Indiana 97-89. Only issue is that was within the division. This is not. Washington's on an elongated losing streak, and the number is the strongest number out of the last 4 matchups for Washington. Washington did beat them down 121-100 at home last time on a 4.5. Again, revenge game coming on the road. It should come down to 2.5. It's coming up to 5.5. That told me a story because it has mattered with these two teams going back to last year. I think Washington could catch a little bit of a public side take here and win by 6-10, but nothing official.
Skee, what you think about these trash Wizards, man?
I think, well, first of all, just about that. I mean, they've lost 3 in a row, right? So why are they favored? That's how I'm looking at it. And I look at those road favorites that are in this situation, lost 3 in a row, and they win 65, a little bit above 65% of their games going back to about 2013 and covering about 50, a little bit over 56%. So pretty much when teams are on a losing streak and they're road favorites for a reason. You look at Detroit, has the market caught up to how bad they are yet? You can make an argument, but they've lost 9 in a row. 6 of their last 7 losses have been by 6 or more. I look at teams that are stinking it up for the last 2 years, just lost 5 or more games in a row. And it's early in the season, like before the bookmakers could really adjust to how bad they are, like under game number 35. Those teams last 2 years, 25 and 45 against the spread, 35%, and 16 and 22 this year. That says fade the Pistons. Hey, you don't got to pull my arm too hard to bet against the Pistons. I'll take the Wizards minus the 5 points in this one.
Hey, good luck, my guy. I hope you cash. Obviously when I say teams are trash, none of all these guys have NBA players on them. Anybody could get some cash. Me personally, I just think the Wizards are in a tailspin right now. They have a really good coach. They know they need to turn it around, and they could do it very easily against the Pistons. So definitely could talk you off that one. Let's go to the streets of Miami here. I don't even want to talk about this team right now. They just held their first home practice of the season. The fuck are we doing here, man? In theory, revenge spot. I don't even know. I'm staying so far away from this game, Shark. Bucks versus Heat. Take it away from me.
I wanted to take Miami. You get a very immediate revenge game here. Of course, they just got hammered in Milwaukee 2 games ago, 124-102. And you go back to the first home game of the year, I believe they absolutely blew out Milwaukee by 35 points or something. So when Miami wants to show up, they can. But the question is, when will they? And as Jay said, they haven't been practicing, which is something we found out after the Grizzlies tank job effort, that they haven't held a home practice all year, which is just astounding. I understand you're in a professional season. You don't want to burn out. You don't want to get injured. But, I mean, at least a walk through some sort of tactical practice, not just an arbitrary shoot-around. Please, Spo, get them together. But that being said, this line is horrendous. Milwaukee laying 6.5 points is ultra strong historically going into a road environment in Miami. You do get a revenge game, but again, there's a lot of player ambiguity. I'm not sure who's even playing in this game. It's just a total toss for me, total stay away. Unfortunately, I would have liked to take Miami a revenge spot, but it's garbage.
Skee, I hadn't heard of anybody sitting out for the Bucks. If so, there definitely could be a tipping point as far as the big three, Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday. Like, I don't think they've lost a single game so far this season with all 3 of those on the court, Skee. So I'll be honest, I'm not betting against the Bucks anytime soon with their big 3 on the court. And the Heat have just shown they're still figuring things out without Bam Adebayo. Now, Jimmy Butler's probably not playing once again. He fell on his ass once again, so he's probably out, Skee. I think that's why the line is mainly so high for the Bucks. What you think about this one?
Yeah, you got to watch Jimmy Butler, bro. Like, honestly, tailbone injuries, they linger. Like, I'm telling you,
every time you walk,
you could be fine a couple days and then it flare up. So you got to watch Jimmy Butler going forward. I would have to take Milwaukee. I mean, like you said, I don't see any of those guys on the injury report, and the lineup for Miami is just uninspiring. I don't want my money on those guys. If you don't have Jimmy Butler in the lineup, you're not getting my money. So those Bucks are passed.
Yeah, he was in the lineup last game and he was fucking trash. So I don't know. It was addition. It might be addition by some trash. Like, I'm not taking the Heat, guys, but the way that Butler looked last game, he did not, like, literally the beat writers like, take him out right now. Let's go to the streets of Memphis, my guys. We got the Grizzlies red hot, right? 5-0 without Ja Morant. As long as they don't play Ja Morant, apparently they'll win every single game the rest of the season, my guys. We'll see what happens. Come back off a little road trip. They won. Shark, what we doing, man? The Mavs off a back-to-back spot. You think they can go up there and get some eat some barbecue real quick, get right with themselves?
I do. First official play of the day, December 8th, 2021. High noon on the East Coast. We're going to the visitors' locker room here in Memphis. Jay laying the table, and you're absolutely right. You get a triple revenge ATS game here. Go back to last year. Let's go through these games.
Give us 1 second. Shark gonna come back in. Skee, you still there? Shark, he finna come back in.
Just cut out?
Yeah, you back, my guy. You back. Shark, we back, my guy.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
We're here.
The bookies and Interpol regulating bets across the world do not want this play to drop. But anyway, so we go back to last year. Divisional opponents, you get a lot of information. You get to scale the lines. Dallas in Dallas, 102.92 on a -4 to Memphis was just your stock average. It held in Memphis, 114-113 Dallas non-cover. Luka Doncic hit a ridiculous three-pointer at the buzzer to win that game. Then they came back. It held again, -3.5, and they got blown out, 133-104. So what am I saying here? The line does not matter. You go back to what happened this season, -7 Dallas, ultra strong, outright loss by 7 points. So now you get a double revenge game, 0-3 ATS environment, last 3. And they come in here catching Memphis, who's 5-0 straight up and 5-0 ATS without John Morant. A lot of situational wins. Jay had said this, a lot of sketchy sort of qualifier wins against bottom feeder style teams. And then, of course, catching Miami, who doesn't practice. So that's fine on that. And you really get an environment here where this is not your typical back-to-back. They had 2 days off before they played Brooklyn last night. They will not be fatigued. I think the game is going to be tight. I think Dallas probably wins the game by 1 to 2 points. Official play, Dallas +4. I'm actually on 5 from last night. I texted Jay about this, but we're dropping +4 official on the show here on Winning Wednesday. 1 unit.
I like it, Skid. I couldn't talk anybody out of Mavs first half. I feel like the Mavs have to come out here hot early in this game. You can't get down to Memphis right now the way that they're playing defense and offensively. If you're the Mavs, you have to come out here and win this first half on the money line, Ski. Talk us off.
Hey, man, you need to go hit your boy Luka up and get him in the gym, get a personal trainer or something.
Fat head ass little boy. Bro, your face is fat. Baby Zion. Don't get me started on him, man. I seen him. Hey, I just sold him a couple of plates. We just cooked some food last night, man. So, Luka, hey, you can't get the buffet if you don't win the game. No buffet, Luka, you fat ass. You need to take some of that weight and give it to Porzingis. All right, I'm going to stop. Let me get off.
Yeah, you see, we seeing the same thing. So I'm not liking what I'm seeing over there. And I know they're 1-5, I think, straight up and against the spread the last 6 games. They haven't covered any of their 3 back-to-back so far this season. And Memphis, I think a lot of their recent numbers are, how do I say, like
skewed.
Yeah, by that ass whooping of OKC. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see if they can do it again here, but it's not a good spot for Dallas. I would only look towards Memphis in this game.
Hey, the line dropping, man. I know it's a back-to-back. I'll be honest with you guys. As a Mavs guy, knowing Mavs insiders, this is an absolute must-win for the Mavs. The last time I said this, they put up 139 points versus the Pelicans. This is not the Pelicans team, guys, but this is the Grizzlies. I do think they're due for some regression, man. Like I say, even versus the Heat there, if I found out these fuckers not even practicing, every single game they've won without John Morant, you could really find an outlier if you ask me. So I think the numbers are very heavily skewed. I know they've been playing really good defense. You look at it, the Mavs can come in here and match up really well against them. If the Mavs look at this game as a must win, they will win it. Simple. If they come in here motivated like they want to win, they will win this game. Simply put, first half and full game. Let's go to the streets of Houston here, Sharp. We got the Nets versus the Rockets. I'll be honest with you. I could see something here. We probably going live again at 6 o'clock Eastern. I could see KD sitting in this one and let it be the Harden show. They know that they could probably still beat the Rockets without KD. I think Harden will probably have a big game in Houston, but we know KD's his shoulder soreness or whatever. It started off yesterday's game pretty bad as well before he picked it up. I think the Nets know that they can win this game even without KD. So I'm just saying that this line may shift, but it's still Nets or nothing for him. I know the Rockets been balling, but I do think Harden, he probably got all the strippers come to this game. See what I'm saying? Say, we're going to hit the club after this. We're finna smack y'all ass up, and I'm going to go throw $100K cash. Shark, what we doing?
Well, we will finalize this by the 6 o'clock show because I want to see some personnel stuff too. I think your point about Durant sitting out is definitely worth acknowledging. Last year, however, was the Harden revenge tour, I believe. Don't check me on that. Or had he been moved when they played in in Houston last year? I'm not sure about that.
I don't think. I think this may be one of the first times he's come back to Houston. Skee.
Okay.
I'm gonna check right now. I still think he'll have something to say regarding. And I'm not a fan of Harden, but
yeah.
we'll
And just continuing on that, the numbers within this game do seem to matter. Last year, Brooklyn did lay 10 points in Houston and absolutely blow them out by 25 plus. Then they came home and laid 12.5. And again, this does matter. It should have been 3 and it was 2.5. And they won by 12 on the number. So it was razor sharp. So this is definitely going to be a sharp number. But I do think the lean would be Houston here. Houston, of course, is on a dub 6, but Houston was also on an L16 prior. So we talk about statistical dispersions. I always say this. When you lose 16 to get back to your average, you should win 12. So this is not abnormal. This is expected right here. And you look at Brooklyn, tough travel point. Back-to-back in Texas off a primetime win. They coasted the game last night and really turned up in the fourth quarter. And on Friday, they play a national game at Atlanta. So it's definitely a sandwich spot. You're playing a bottom feeder team, uninspiring team in between 2 primetime games. The number is all over Houston. This number should be holding up around 9.5. It's short for a reason. Houston might compete here as a corollary to their outright win in Chicago and Charlotte within the Eastern Conference going back a week. We will be finalized at 6 o'clock. Skee, any comments?
Skee, real quick. Harden did play last year. There he had 29 points. It was Harden and Kyrie. So in theory, it does make it even better. It's just crazy that the Rockets have won 6 straight. They're still without KPJ and Jalen Green. I know that these guys been balling. Teams been looking past them. So funny. There's no way in hell I'm betting this game, Skee. But obviously, we have to agree that the Nets could blow this team out if they want to. Simply put, they are starting to miss a ton of guys. They've been winning. Some teams looking past them, but I don't know. I just think that this could possibly be a Nets smash spot here, Skee.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. You guys made a lot of great points, and all I'll say is if KPJ was in the lineup, I maybe think about it. But if he's out, I don't really have interest in backing Houston in this game. So maybe Harden, points, rebounds, assists is the way to go, especially if you think KD is going to sit. You get a better number if you bet it now.
Exactly. Yeah, the only thing I'm saying is I feel like this is the type of game where the Rockets will need their better guys, in my opinion. Obviously, not even necessarily Jalen Green, but KPJ for sure. But obviously, they could compete. The number is short. Like, I'm not betting the Nets. I fucking hate the Nets right now, to be honest with you. James Harden, he's a Luka as well. Those two in the game, I'm laughing like a motherfucker watching the game. Let's get to the next game. We've got the Timberwolves versus the Jazz. Really no point in talking about this one. Russell and Cat question right now. If both of them in, I'd be looking at the Timmies, man. I'm ready to buy the Timmies again. I don't got the Timberland boots over there. No, I don't think I got none, but it's Timberwolves or nothing, man. It's a tough game, Shark. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, we're literally waiting on the lineups here. That's it. Because if Russell and Towns play, we're backing the Wolves. The Wolves play the Jazz incredibly well. And we always talk about averages. I've seen enough. Go back to last year. 3 outright victories against the Jazz. Forget covers, outright victories. All similar style games, kind of low scoring. This is just the brand of basketball the Wolves can play. And they just, for whatever reason, we always talk about opponent types. Towns, Russell, they're in the Donovan Mitchell era. They look at this guy on the court. They want to turn up. And I think if you look at the line as well, last year it was 12, 11, 10. This opened up at 8.5. It's getting steamed down to 7. I think Russell might play tonight. I think he's been injured, but again, not a life-altering injury. I think this is one of those, if this is a playoff game, he could play. And I think this is a playoff-style game. I think the Wolves really want to turn up here to potentially win the game. And again, Utah has a back-to-back front-end national game tomorrow. It's a look-ahead spot as well. We will finalize this, but the Timberwolves are very top-graded for me.
Skee, they're going from Minnesota to Philly tomorrow. Could they be? Well, they already smacked Philly by 35. It's a tough game. It's Timberwolves or nothing. Skee, this is one where I'm watching injury report, just waiting on a couple of guys, and then I'll be. You got to be quick when the info come out. Skee, what are we doing?
I'm not touching this game. Minnesota's a team I don't really bet just because, I don't feel like stressing myself out all day looking at the injury report, seeing who's going to play or who's not. So I just, I'll let you guys have this game.
No, I'm with you on that. Yeah, hey, the Timberwolves have won the past 3. You could argue this is a lot better team. Well, it's not. You could argue this is a lot better team than it was last year and beat the Jazz. You could argue it was a lot better Jazz team as well. They definitely had a lot stronger bench. Nuggets versus the New Orleans basketball team. I did see that Bones Highland's supposed to come back today. It actually could be huge for the Nuggets coming off the Nuggets coming. They need some more depth, right? So Good God, both of these teams are all over the place, man. Nuggets or nothing, Shark. Anything quick on this one, man? We got about 5 more minutes.
Yeah. When you look at what Denver's doing on this elongated road trip, they are flip-flopping wins and losses. So if you're going on that model, this would be a Denver spot. Of course, they melted it off last game. That did not help us in any way, shape, or form. But New Orleans, again, as you said, is a bye team. They haven't gotten Zion back, obviously, but they've shown up at home against these type of opponents. Outright win against the Grizzlies, outright win against the Clippers. Anything could happen here, in my opinion.
Skee, anything on this one, my brother? Denver versus New Orleans. Next game?
Yeah, this is another game I barely even really looked at. So all I would say is New Orleans has more rest as far as last 5 game stats. It favors New Orleans, but a lot of those games Joker didn't play. So, I'm going to stay off this game.
It's going to be a good game to watch, man. I can't wait to see Jokic and Valanciunas go at each other, man. Another one, Blazers versus Warriors. Absolutely nothing for me. Obviously, the only way I could look is Warriors. Could be some below the table shit. Hey, we're going to win by 10. But the Warriors, the only way I could look in this one. The Blazers, they're in a tailspin. It's just simple. They're in a tailspin. And a lot of injuries as well, Shark.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is just your bloated line environment. We saw it last time against Orlando, and they smacked them. And you look just historically, the Warriors are just focused this year. There's no way around it. I mean, they obviously had tanked last year. They're just pissed off. They want to beat teams. They want to beat teams with authority. And the lines are very well adjusted. Portland is very unpredictable, obviously, without Damian Lillard coming in here. As you said, I mean, the lean would be Warriors to just smack them. Obviously, a rival from playoff series past. Just to lay the hammer down on them. But obviously nothing official here. It's just whatever.
Skee, you land the 14 with the Warriors?
Would be, but I prefer probably the first half. I mean, Portland's been just pretty terrible. I think Warriors can come out the gate, put their foot down and then cruise the rest of the way. So first half -8.5 will be the way I look on the Warriors.
That's a damn good point, man. Last game up, Celtics versus Clippers here. Celtics obviously coming off getting smacked up in a Scott Foster special last night versus the Lakers, which it was a schedule loss probably. So Jaylen Brown will probably be out for a while. I don't know why they're listening to question every game. Guy has a hamstring. That's what I'm talking about right there with the injury report manipulation. They know that they're not fucking playing him for a while, but we're going to put him on the injury report just to play with everybody's heads all day. Anyway, Celtics 4th game of a 4-game road trip. They did have 2 days off before yesterday. I lean Celtics here. I'd like to lean Celtics, but I'm staying off this one, Shark. Anything on this one, my brother?
Yeah, I mean, again, we talk about this every single day with the Celtics. They're very hard to predict. So you get the layover in LA, which is definitely not historically a good spot for any NBA team. And you also get a double revenge game for the Clippers. The Celtics did beat them both times last year. And I saw somebody in the chat say that doesn't matter. I encourage you to study the mind of pro athletes. They're human beings. They absolutely do remember these things. And the Clippers will remember getting beat in Staples, Crypto Center, I should say, and on the road in Boston last year. But, of course, Boston is highly unpredictable. Boston just got shelled against the Lakers, so theoretically they should bounce back. But then again, maybe not, because off a cover at Utah, they blew out Portland. So if you think about the cluster effect here, when you go 2-0 in a back-to-back, Utah and Portland, theoretically, unless you're superhuman, you probably shouldn't cover a back-to-back again in LA. I mean, again, I'm just drawing the narrative point here, how absolutely unpredictable this game could be. I got nothing on this.
Yeah, they beat them one of those games, though, like it was no Paul George. They had Kawhi, but no PG. The other game was PG, but no Kawhi. So this is, I don't care about this game. Skee, anything else, my brother, before we get out of here? I know you got a dip.
This is not a game that I'll be playing, but I will say major rest advantage in that one game for Sacramento. And, you guys usually talk about plays you like the best. I probably would look towards the first 2 games we talked about and go Cavaliers or Wizards.
Got you. You said the Kings got the rest advantage, right?
Yeah, it's their second game, I think, in 7 nights. So, I'm trying to find ways to back them. And I'll be on them by the end of the day.
And you say you like the Cavs with me, my brother?
Yes, sir.
Let's cash. Shark, break them off with your officials before we get out of here, my brother.
Only official play as of now, Dallas +4. Went through it in detail, but Dallas coming in here off a loss. I failed to mention they're 4-1 ATS last 5 on the road, also 0-5 ATS last 5 at home. That's a very noticeable trend. For whatever reason, this Jason Kidd group is traveling better. And I think, Jay, on the later show, we can talk about a little psychology of the league and what's going on with this team. I heard some comments from Jason Kidd last night I did not like at all. And we can detail that at 6, guys. Set the notifications on. I'm back on here at 6, 1 hour, more chats, and just a little more like deep NBA analytical stuff as opposed to the numbers, which, of course, are the capping point for the game. But top play of the day, Dallas, to get in here on a double revenge game. Highly motivated spot, need the win, +4, 1 unit. J Money is money. Yep. Close them out.
Players only official warm-up jacket. You dig what I'm saying? From the Mavs. I like the Mavs in the first half, man, on the money line. Mavs first half money line. Mavs and the Cavs. You see what I'm saying? We're finna start a whole rap song around this motherfucker. But that's what I like, man. I told my guy Shark last night I like the Cavs and the Mavs. I'm going with the Mavs in the first half. I do like the full game as well. It's tough for me to go in here and tell someone to fade the Grizzlies again. You see what I'm saying? But you guys can do whatever you want. Is your money, see what I'm saying? But I understand people riding the Grizzly streak. If they made you money, hey, it is what it is. But I do think the Mavs will come out and win that first half. And I like the Cavs, man, to lay the defense on them boys. Vucevic, you're going to have a world of problems tonight, and he can't guard Allen or Mobley. I don't think that the Bulls have the bigs to stay in this game. They're losing a ton of guards now as well, losing their main defenders, losing their main closers as well. I think the Cavs put that defense on them. And you know what I'm noticing right now? Some teams just play hard all the time, and the Cavs are definitely one of those teams. You will never catch them giving up on a game that could be down 20, and they're still going to play hard. That's the type of teams I want to put my money on. That's my guy, Shark and Sports. My guy, Skee, had to dip. He got to go do the Wager Talk show, man. He said, hey, thanks for having it. He had to dip out, which I already knew that. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you don't never miss what time we never go live. You see what I'm saying? We will be live again right here, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. We out, my guys. Go and follow us on Twitter at Sharks and Sports, at J Money is Money. Let's cash, my guys.